Hello, my beautiful intuitive butterflies, and welcome to December the 1st, the first day of the last month of 2022. Okay, how many takes did it take me to be able to get that out of my mouth without screwing it up? Honestly, more than once. Okay, so I thought I would jump on and I'm going to start doing something new. Every month, on the first of the month, I'm going to do a really quick video. I will put timestamps in the description for each of the zodiac signs to give you an overall sort of energetic feel for the month for your zodiac sign. Keep in mind that these are general readings. So some of it is going to resonate with you and some of it will not. And it, to a certain degree, it kind of depends on where you were born in the month as well. So, for example, my son was born on a cusp. So he listens to both the zodiac sign just before and the zodiac sign just after when he was born, because sometimes one resonates with him more than the other. So pay attention if you're born close to a cusp, which is when the zodiac signs change, then one may resonate more than the other. So just pay attention to that. So without getting into too many more details, let's get started. I have cleansed and cleared my deck by having an organite sitting on top for about the last 15 minutes with the intention of clearing it. And let's just call in some good energies to help today. Call in the creator, the angels, the ancestors, and the animals. And we also call in the energies of Mother Earth. Roots spreading out through Mother Earth so that I am in connection and contact with the souls who will watch this video. Also going to do my usual cleansing and clearing with sage because I've already had a couple of incidents this morning. My camera has unplugged itself twice today already. So let's hope that that doesn't happen while I'm recording. Let's just... Okay. All right. Let's get started. So for the month of December, let's see what energies are going to be dominant for Aries. Let's start with Aries. What is the dominant energy for Aries for the month of December? Oh, and we've got two cards that have popped out for Aries. All right. The first card that has popped out is the Dream. So if you are in the sign of Aries, your dominant energy this month is basically about living in your dreams, helping to make your dreams come true. Like I said, there was a second card that popped out here for you as well, Aries, and that is the Totality card, the Five of Wands in the traditional tarot decks. What this means is that right now you are in the process of working towards making a dream come true, and you still tend to be in that sort of dreamy state of wanting to manifest this. And what this is telling me is that it is time for you to go all in. Dive in with that totality, dive in with both feet. It is time for you, Aries, this month of December to get out of that kind of headspace, that dreamy part where you are creating what you want. And it is time for you to bring that into the physical realm. This card is the equivalent of the Six of Cups, which is a water sign, which is about being kind of flowing and being a little bit relaxed and so on. But this card is the Five of Wands. The red here represents fire, which represents action, and it represents action in the physical world, in the physical plane. So Aries, it's time for you to take your dreams and begin to bring them into physical reality. That means starting to take the steps. If you're looking for a new job, get those resumes out there into the physical world. Let the world know that that's your intention. If your intention is to manifest a new partner, then get out there into the world. You cannot manifest a new love interest if you are sitting at home on your bed going, oh, I hope that I'm going to have a new partner. You can't do it from there. You have to have laid the groundwork. And this card is telling me that you have laid the groundwork for what it is that you want. And this card is telling me, Aries, it's time to bring it into the physical realm. All right, so let's move on to Taurus for the month of December. What is the dominant energy for the Taurus that are watching? Right, whoops. Cards are having some fun today. All right, dominant energy for Taurus for the month of December. You'll notice there's a card here that is tented. Taurus, your dominant energy for the month of December is going to be courage. Now, let me see. That is 8 in the traditional tarot. Oh, just give me one moment here, Taurus. Justice card. Okay, so this card is the equivalent of the Justice card in the traditional tarot for you, to my Taurus in the group. Okay. What this card is telling me, Taurus, is that your dominant energy for the month of December is that it is time for you to really be in that push to show who it is that you really are. Okay. I'm picking up intuitively, Taurus, that for some of this year, you've really been in a position where you have played it small, where you have taken a back seat. You haven't always wanted to, but you have done that this year. And this card is telling me that as much as it's difficult, like if you look at the picture on the card, you'll notice that this is a flower that has managed to root itself and push up through a tiny little crack in the rock. And yet it's come into full bloom and it has the sun shining down on it, which means that it is actually in a position where it can thrive. But it wasn't easy for this flower to be able to come out of the crack in the rock. That's a very difficult place for people to grow from. And so Taurus, I'm sensing that you've kind of been stuck in this really tight crack and you've taken a back seat and you haven't always thrived. And for the month of December, your dominant energy is encouraging you to thrive, to finally burst forth from that crack. And like I said, intuitively, I'm just picking up that you've played it small. You've taken a back seat this year. You haven't always had the courage to, what's the word I want to say? To speak your mind, to speak up and really, really express. What's coming in for me is feelings and emotions. You've really struggled with being able to express your feelings and emotions. And I almost want to say that what you've done this year often is you have suppressed your feelings and emotions. You've kept them in this tight little crack rather than having the courage to allow them to come out and really bloom and show the world who you are. And I'm really, really picking up. I mean, we have so many facets of humanity, right? We have our emotional side, our mental side, our psychological side. We have our physical side. We have all these aspects of ourselves, but I'm really, really feeling for you, Taurus, that this card is speaking to your emotions. So have the courage this month to express yourself, Taurus, to let your emotions out. All right, so moving right along, let's get into Gemini. All right, for the Geminis in the group. Oh, and there we go. We have the dominant energy for Gemini. Okay. Gemini, my twins. This card is an interesting card this month. You got the morality card. Okay. This card is a card that indicates that for some of you, you are struggling with your morality right now. I'm just going to pull this out because I believe this card is the equivalent of the Queen of Swords in the traditional deck. Okay, so this card is in the traditional deck, represents feminine wisdom, but in this deck, it also represents our conditioning, which creates our morality. And sometimes what can happen, and the reason that I mentioned the twins is, yes, Gemini, the twins, sometimes people don't bring that up, but when the morality card comes up, it's usually an indication that there is an internal conflict within us where morality and our beliefs within ourselves are not in alignment. So that which society, our parents, our teachers, and others, the belief system that they have sort of thrust forth upon us might not be sitting well with us. It might be rubbing us the wrong way. I'm getting an image, and also on my hands, a feeling like sandpaper, like something is not sitting well with you this month, my Geminis. And so what you're being called upon this month is, you'll notice on this card that there is kind of bars, almost like the character on the card is trying to break free from his own imprisonment behind these bars. Okay. So your dominant energy and your lesson this month, Geminis, is to really, really pay attention to morality and find out where your morality sits. What's true for you? Because what is true for you may not be in alignment with what's true for society. Now, I'm not saying like go out there and, do something crazy and something completely immoral. I'm not giving advice here to that effect by any stretch of the imagination. But what I am saying is, for the Geminis in the group, I really sense that you've got this internal struggle going on this month of something that's just not sitting right with you. And really, the only way for you to resolve this is to go within, okay? To really, really kind of, that's not the right way to say it, but it is, to kind of go into your own isolation, okay? To kind of create your own cage temporarily for the purposes of really exploring what's right for you, regardless of what the outside world is saying, okay? And like I said, this is not about going out and doing something immoral or illegal by any stretch of the imagination. But take, for example, somebody who was raised in a particularly conservative family, okay? Conservative clothing, the body is covered up on a regular basis and so on. And all of a sudden, you have an opportunity to go to a beach in December for a vacation with somebody else's family, just as an example, okay? And you have this internal struggle going on, Gemini, of, do I wear a bathing suit or do I wear a t-shirt over top of my bathing suit? Because my family says, and society, the group of people that I was raised with, all dictated that I need to cover myself. And yet when I go to the beach, perhaps in a different country on a vacation or something, you're going, wait, I'm actually going to look out of place if I'm wearing a t-shirt. Why is it so morally wrong? It doesn't sit right with me. I want to wear my bathing suit when I go on this vacation. Okay, that's the type of internal struggle that I'm picking up for you, Gemini, that you may experience this month. And the only way for you to come to a resolution of that, to decide whether you're going to wear a t-shirt over your bathing suit or not, is for you to go deep within and determine what's right for you without a whole bunch of chatter and internal or external forces chattering away at you. Go within and find out what sits right for you, Gemini. Okay. All right, moving along to the Cancers in the group. Let's just clear the deck. Okay, what is the dominant energy for the Cancers this month? Ooh, we have more than one card for you, Cancer. Okay, we have two cards that flipped over for the Cancers in the group this month. Okay. The first card that came up is the equivalent of the 10 of Wands from the traditional tarot. And this is suppression. This is an indication that for the Cancers in the group for the month of December, some of what's happening for you is that you are suppressing and repressing something. Why is this happening? Okay, we have a second card that came out at the same time. They both flipped over, clinging to the past. Okay, so for the Cancers in the group for the month of December, your dominant energy is going to be about releasing the past. Let go of the past. Okay, because as you cling to the past, you are suppressing and repressing yourself. You'll notice that on this card, on this particular card, the character is kind of in the background here. I'm going to hopefully get this into focus for you. But the character is all tied up in all of these ropes, okay? And being so tied up in all of these ropes, he has created a cloud up in and around his head here. His head is in the clouds, which makes it difficult to make a decision. And yet, if you look in the background, there's a light. Okay, a light going up to source, a light going up to creator, which means that this character still has the capacity to be able to connect with this light source, with this creative energy that comes down. But in order to be able to do that, this character needs to throw off these chains and these ropes. And so for some people, you know, the question is, where do the chains and ropes come from? Well, for most of us, it's self-imposed. And for the most of us, it comes from our past. When we cling to the past, we tie ourselves up in ropes and chains. And that suppresses our beauty. It suppresses our growth. It suppresses our ability to be able to move forward. Okay, so for the Cancers in the group, really, the time right now is for you to let go of the past, let go of the beliefs, let go of what's coming up for me is that there is a desire to hold on to the past and hold on to what once was. And in so doing, there is a belief that there's the belief that the person or the situation hasn't changed since the past. But let's face it, we all change and we all grow. We grow at different rates and so on. But when we hold on to the past, we cloud our vision of what can be. We cloud our vision of the possibilities that are out there. And so I encourage the Cancers in the group to really let go of the vision. Intuitively, what I'm picking up is that the Cancers in the group during the month of December are really looking to reconnect with someone or something from the past, a situation or a person from the past. And yet there's the belief and this vision of the person from the past. And you, Cancers, have changed, and that person has changed as well. Now, that's not to say don't reach out. That's to say reach out, reconnect with that person, but don't let that reconnection be clouded by the past. I'm sensing that there's water under the bridge, that there are incidents or something that happened in the past that are making people want to shy away from that reconnection. Well, at the same time, there's still that curiosity about wanting to reconnect, about the what if. Okay. And what these two cards are telling me for the month of December for the Cancers in the group is that as you cling to the image of the past, you're not allowing for your own growth to be recognized and acknowledged, nor for you to have the capacity to recognize and acknowledge the growth of those around you. And when you let go of the past and your image of the past and your perception of who people were in the past, when you let go of this, then you'll stop suppressing and repressing who you are and potentially even who they are. Let go of the past and just do it. Reach out. Reconnect without expectations of who the person once was. I hope that this is making sense. It's making sense in my head, but it's not coming out of my mouth very well. But I guess what I'm saying is, if you have a desire to reach out and reconnect with someone, don't let the past cloud it, because that's going to suppress what could be. Go into it with new energy without the ropes and chains. All right. So I hope that that resonates with you, the Cancers in the group. That one was a little bit more difficult than some of these readings. Some of these readings are going really fast. Like there's just such positive energy coming in for December. But for the Cancers in the group, I'm really, really sensing that in order for you to be able to leave 2022 in the past and leave preconceived notions in the past and be able to really throw off those ropes and chains that were in the picture on the card, you're going to have to let go of preconceived notions and just step forward. All right. Leo is next. All right. Dominant energy in December for the Leos in the group. Okay, I've got a card here. It's turned a little bit sideways. It's poking me in the finger, unusually. All right. For the Leos in the group, your card is New Vision. Okay. Now, if I'm not mistaken, in the traditional tarot, the number 12, I think, is the Devil card. I'm just going to check and confirm. 12. Oh, no, it's the Hanged Man. It's the Hanged Man. Okay. And one of the reasons that I really like the Osho Zen Tarot is because if I was using the traditional tarot for my Leos in the crowd and I turned over the Hanged Man, a lot of the Leos who are not familiar with the tarot and the energy and the intention behind the cards would go, Hanged Man and death and plague and all of these horrible things and pestilence and, oh, December's going to be so horrible. The reason I love my Osho Zen deck is because the intention and the meaning behind the number 12 card in the traditional tarot is new vision, right? But the only way that we can truly experience new vision is to let go of the past or to experience a small death, to experience, letting go of the past. Now, Cancer had a similar theme to their December in that they got a clinging to the past card, which is an indication you need to let go of the past. This card too is about letting go of the past. Now, given that this reading is being done on December the 1st, the first day of the last month of 2022, there is a lot of past for us to let go of in the last couple of years, right? So for the Leos in the group, let go of the past this month. really, really concentrate on, as your dominant energy, releasing that which no longer serves you, releasing thoughts, energies, practices, habits that are not helping you to move forward. You'll notice on this card that there is a character down at the bottom on all fours, kind of crawling, and yet being birthed from this character is this new vision and this new, stronger character. This one is fully connected up here, fully connected to the universe, and is in touch with the higher energies, the faster vibrating energies that are out there. So for the Leos in the group, your dominant energy this month is really, really creating your new vision. And the only way that you can truly have that new vision is to let go of the past. Experience that hanged man energy. Experience that letting go of that which just isn't working. Okay. What's coming to mind for me intuitively for you, Leo, as well, is that don't wait until January 1st to start your New Year's resolutions. Okay. Whether you normally practice New Year's resolutions or you don't, if you have been thinking about eating a healthier diet, starting an exercise regime, if you've been thinking about quitting sodas or chocolates or smoking or drinking, whatever it is, why wait? Why wait until a particular day on the calendar that someone years ago said, oh, it's a new year, so therefore this is a good time for you to be able to create something new? Why wait? If you are sensing right now, Leo, that the time is right for you to let go of old habits, rituals, ceremonies, whatever, do it now. Why wait for a date on the calendar for another 31 days? Okay. And when you do that, you are going to experience a hangman moment. For a lot of you Leos, what I'm picking up is that there is a habit or something that you want to get rid of. And it's really going to help you have a new vision for the future. And when you do, it's going to be beautiful. So do it now. Do it in December. There's no need for you to wait for a date on the calendar next month. All right. Next, we've got Virgo. All right. For the Virgos in the group, let's have a card for the dominant energy for the Virgos. And you'll notice there's a card sticking up here. All right, Virgo. Now, for some of you, you'll be familiar with upside down cards or inverted cards. And inverted cards have kind of the opposite meaning. This card came up in the inverted position, which is interesting because I very seldom shuffle my deck in a way that allows cards to get flipped over. I don't shuffle them the way that you would a traditional deck of cards. So for the Virgos in the group, we got abundance inverted. Okay. What this is indicating to me for the Virgos in the group is that you need to be somewhat guarded with your financial abundance right now. You need to be somewhat guarded with your emotional abundance right now. What I'm picking up for the Virgos, their dominant energy for the month of December is more of a guarded energy towards abundance. In other words, when it comes to doing shopping for the holidays, just pay attention to your bank balance, right? there's no need for you to go out and spend like crazy. A lot of people in your circle and your realm, particularly after the last 2 years, particularly after the increase in inflation recently and so on, a lot of people would really, really appreciate something homemade rather than having you go out and spend a bunch of money and then having your friends and family and relatives see you suffer the following month because you were, you know, being flamboyant is the word that's coming to mind. Okay. So for the Virgos, I'm also picking up that there is an emotional aspect to this card for the Virgos in the group for the month of December, that you need to have a little bit more of a guarded, energy this month for your emotions. That's not to say don't go out and love. Don't go out and experience the emotions and the celebrations of the season. But Virgos have a tendency to be a little bit more black and white sometimes. They're either all in or they're all out. And so when it comes to the holiday celebrations, I'm sensing as well for some of the Virgos, there may be a temptation to perhaps imbibe more than they should, to celebrate a little later and a little longer than they should. Okay. Because a celebration for the holidays involves abundance of people, abundance of food, abundance of certain beverages flowing freely. And with this card coming up for the Virgos upside down, it's an indication that you need to be a little bit more cautious, a little bit more withdrawn when it comes to those celebrations. So, you know, the buffet, the big, beautiful buffet table that's laid out in front of you, perhaps only visit the buffet table once instead of 3 times. You know, the company party where the alcohol is flowing freely, perhaps limit yourself to 2 drinks instead of 6. That's just the energies that I'm picking up for the Virgos for the month of December, that this month is really about, you don't have to limit yourself to the point of not enjoying yourself, but also be aware and be wary of the overindulgence. There's the word that I'm looking for. The overindulgence of the season of December. Okay. This card coming up upside down is all about not overindulging this month, Virgos. All right. Libras. Okay, Libra. For the month of December, what is your dominant energy? You can see there's a card sticking up there. Libra. Your card is from the Major Arcana, and you have number 15, the conditioning card. Okay, I'm just going to consult my reference book here, but I think that, yeah, it's the Devil card for the Libras in the group. You got the Devil card. Okay, now, if you go back and you listen to some of the other signs, you'll hear me talk about why I love the Osho Zen Tarot so much, because if I were to have turned over the Devil card, a lot of you in the group would have gone, okay. This card is about conditioning. Okay. The predominant energy of the Devil card is about conditioning. It's about what we are conditioned to believe. Okay. So For the Libras in the group, for the month of December, your dominant energy is to look at your conditioning. Okay. If you look at this card, you'll notice that there's a lion. Now, lions are conditioned to believe that the sheep or the lambs that are surrounding it are food. Okay. Is that the truth? I don't know. Maybe. But when we explore our conditioning, when we explore our beliefs, when we explore what society, through our parents, teachers, bosses, and so on, told us is true, does it resonate with us? So for the Libras in the group, I want to say that part of what you will probably experience this month of December is questioning the conditioning that you have. Just going to have a sip here. Libra, I sense that you're going to be questioning conditioning, and that means questioning traditions, given that this is the dominant energy for the month that contains a number of different religious and important celebrations for a number of different religions. Okay, this isn't just about Christmas. This isn't just about Christianity. It's not just about Hanukkah. It's about traditions. Why do we celebrate in the month of December? Why is this month in particular important? We've got Yule coming up. Does Yule play a part? Does Yule perhaps resonate with some of the Libras more so than Christmas? Okay. And I'm sensing that for the Libras, there is this tear in the fabric of your reality beginning to happen. I don't know how else to say it, but that was what came up for me intuitively. It was like an intuitive download. I just had this image of this tear in the fabric of reality, which is going to cause a lot of you Libras to question your conditioning. Why do we do this at this time of the year? Why are we doing that? Why am I cooking a turkey? I don't know. Okay. That's your dominant energy this month, Libras. And that is your work for this month. Explore your conditioning. Why do you do certain things at certain times of the year? Why? I don't know. But deep down inside, you, Libra, you know why. So explore that without a lot of the chatter. Now, I can tell you, if you're watching all of these and not just jumping around by the timestamps, you'll know that one of the earlier signs that I've read today had a very, very similar message. So there's kind of a theme that is happening, the theme that is going on right now. We're questioning things. We're digging deeper. So that is your dominant energy this month, Libra. So let's move on to Scorpio. Scorpio, what is your dominant energy for the month of December? We've got a couple of cards. No, is that not the right card? Let's set those aside. No. Okay, I've got 4 cards here for you, Scorpio. And I don't think that all 4 cards are intended to come out. So let's just shuffle the smaller deck of just the 4 cards. Dominant energy for Scorpio for the month of December. Please show me. Okay. I've got 3 cards here and they don't want to rejoin this card. Scorpio. That might explain why this card didn't want to really come out as well. This card is politics. So for the Scorpios in the group, your dominant energy for the month of December is the 7 of Swords, and that corresponds to politics. You'll notice on this card that we've got kind of an interesting character here. In the background, let me see, there we go. Interesting character here. Where's this nice friendly mask? But you'll also notice the snake kind of coiled up here. What this card is telling me for the Scorpios in the group is that you need to pay attention to who people are in your group this month. Okay. Are you seeing people for the masks that they're wearing? Or is it a snake oil salesman in the background that perhaps isn't the kindest person? Okay. This card is about paying attention to what's going on below the surface. Pay attention to the way people are communicating, not just the words that are coming out of their mouths, but also, you know, if somebody is saying to you, for example, oh yeah, I really like you. Pay attention to their energy. Pay attention to their arms crossed across their chest. Pay attention to the tone of their voice. Scorpio, what this card is telling me is that there is perhaps a few snakes in and amongst your midst. Okay, there's a few people in your midst who perhaps are not telling you the truth. They're wearing a mask. They're playing politics with you. And they're playing with your emotions. And the way that you can most easily overcome this, let's go to a different deck, Scorpio. And let's pull a clarification card to overcome the politics card for the month of December for Scorpio. Persistence. Persistence. This is the card that came up as the clarification card for the politics card. Okay. What this is telling me, Scorpio, is that for you to be able to expose the snake in your midst is persistence. But this card also is the waterfall. Okay. The waterfall represents water, obviously. And when water comes up, anytime water comes up, when we're dealing with oracle cards or tarot cards, it is an indication that some of what we need to do is to go with the flow, right? The same way that a waterfalls is part of a river that flows within its own boundaries, okay? So some of what you're being called upon for your dominant energy this month, Scorpio, is to go with the flow, kind of stay within your boundaries, but your persistence in trying to expose the politics that are going on is going to come to fruition. You are going to be able to expose that which is not sitting right. You're going to be able to see through that veil, see through the chatter. That's what's going to be really important for you this month. And the best way to do that is just through persistence. Put up your boundaries. Definitely. I mean, the river follows the banks or the boundaries. And so this is telling me, Scorpio, that there are boundaries that you are going to have to hold. You're going to have to hold firm in your boundaries in order to be able to get through the politics that are going to come up this month for you. Okay. All right. Let me just mix these cards up here and re-clear this deck. Shuffle. And let's move on to Sagittarius. We need the dominant energy for Sagittarius for this, the month of December 2022. Dominant energy for Sagittarius. Okay, you can see that there are actually two cards poking up here. So dominant energy for Sagittarius. Let's determine which card is meant to come out on top. This one. Compromise. Sagittarius, this is your dominant energy for the month of December. Compromise. Okay. This means that there are going to be opportunities and situations that are going to present themselves to you, Sagittarius, during this month that are going to call for you to compromise. And that doesn't mean compromising your morals or your values, but perhaps it means experiencing a situation that you perhaps are not that comfortable with, but in order to placate, you may have to compromise. So let me think of a situation. During the month of December, we're often put into situations where we have to go and spend time with people whom perhaps we wouldn't normally spend time with. Okay. Attending a company party, attending a family gathering, something along those lines. The second card that came out for you, Sagittarius, is the transformation card. Okay. What this is telling me is, in the scenario or the situation that I just gave you, where you are perhaps invited to a company party that you wouldn't normally go to. Let's say you've worked for the same company for 10 years and you seldom attend company functions. It's just not your thing. What this card is telling me is that perhaps this year you can compromise. Maybe just decide to go for an hour, for the first hour. If, for example, let's say, for example, the reason that you don't normally attend company functions is because you don't drink alcohol. Just as an example, hypothetically speaking, you don't drink alcohol and it makes you uncomfortable being around a lot of people who over imbibe at this time of the year. Okay. And yet, you know that there are opportunities within the company. If you do attend some of these social functions, perhaps you'll have an opportunity to be able to communicate with or sit down in a social setting and get to know someone on a deeper level that may have the opportunity in 2023 to be able to advance your career. So compromise. Go to that social function, but maybe only go for the first hour before people have overindulged in the food or the alcohol or whatever the case may be. It could be the same in your family, right? Perhaps there are family members who, once the alcohol starts flowing or once the food comes out, then there are anxious moments or, things that make you uncomfortable. So compromise. Go to the social function for the first hour and then quietly excuse yourself. And during that time, there's an opportunity there for you to be able to see people in a different light. And this is going to cause a transformation for you. Okay. Take another situation, perhaps when it comes to gift giving. Okay. And perhaps you're in a situation this year because of inflation and all the rest of that stuff that's gone on, where you can't compete with another family member that always comes out with these big, beautiful, expensive gifts. And you're going, you can't compete with that. Compromise. Do something different. Perhaps make a suggestion that you do a secret Santa this year instead of everyone having to buy gifts for everyone. Okay. That will create transformation for you and for your family. That will create transformation for you and yourself within your company and perhaps even your company. Okay. Practicing compromise is not about giving up your true values and what's within you. It's about looking at a situation and seeing opportunities where there's a give and a take. Okay, so that's your dominant energy, Sagittarius. I hope that that resonated with you, and I hope that you can keep that energy in mind for the month of December, and that it will help you and assist you as you move through the month of December and all of the functions and everything that are part of December. Okay, moving along to the Capricorns in the group. Let's have one card, and there's our card for the Capricorns. Dominant energy for Capricorn for the month of December. Okay. We have the Miser for the Capricorns in the group. Okay. Dominant energy is the dominant energy is a give and a take for you Capricorns for this month. You know, it's about not overspending, the miser. Okay. But it's also about not holding on to the past. Okay. I'm just going to quickly look up. Yeah. Loosen your grip. Loosen your grip on the past. Okay. For the Capricorns in the group, this card is about not overspending, as I said, for the holidays, right? But it's also about not holding on to the past. You'll notice in this card that the character is dressed in all of her old jewels. She's dressed in older clothing that has seen better days. Okay. She's holding on to the past. She's holding on to the glory days. Okay. So like I said from the beginning, this card is twofold. It's about not holding on to the past so hard, but it's also about not overspending today. Part of the miser is about holding on to old traditions, right? The character on this card is dressed in her old glory days and all of her jewels and so on. She's holding on to the past. She's holding on to traditions that no longer resonate in today's world. So for the Capricorns in the group, your dominant energy for the month of December is about perhaps not holding on to the traditions so tightly. The example that comes to mind is the tradition of the foods that we eat in the month of December. And what's coming up for me, Capricorn, is that there is a desire to hold on to certain traditions that no longer resonate within your family. And I'm really, really feeling that this is family. Like, you know, we have all these different aspects of our lives. We have family, we have school, we have work, and so on. We have our own personal time as well. And for you Capricorns, I'm really, really feeling that where this energy is going to bubble up most is going to be in your family and in your family traditions. And so I'm going to encourage you, and it's up to you. You have free will. It's up to you whether you want to take this advice and internalize it or completely reject it. But I'm going to make a suggestion that if someone suggests changing one of your very strongly held traditions within your family, really go deep within yourself about whether or not changing that tradition is okay. Explore why your family has held on to a particular tradition for so many years. A lot of us, as we get older, we want to hold on to old traditions for whatever reason. And there's nothing wrong with that, providing that those traditions are not driving a wedge between us and a younger generation. The tradition, for example, of eating turkey at Christmas time. Why? If the younger generation comes along and says, why are we eating turkey? Why not have a ham? Why not have steak? Why not have a roast? Because nobody in our family particularly cares for turkey anyway. Why are we continuing to cook something that a lot of the members of the family no longer resonate with? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with changing that tradition? That's really what's coming up for me. Now, it might not be food, it might be something else, some other kind of tradition. But that's really what I'm coming up for you, Capricorn, is to really explore the traditions that you have in your family. And perhaps it's time for some change in those traditions. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. If one of your strongly held, on the other hand, if one of your really strongly held traditions, beliefs during this time of the year is that you need to go to your house of worship, whether that be a church, a synagogue, a mosque, whatever the case may be, that at this time of the year, the whole family, regardless of the rest of the year, this is the time of the year that you do that. Can you compromise on that? And if the answer is no, then don't compromise yourself, right? But that's really what I'm picking up for you, is that there is going to be this opportunity for you to explore familial traditions, and some might not be negotiable, and some might be really negotiable. And that's really what this card, the energy behind this card, is coming up for you, Capricorn, this month. Okay. All right, moving on to Aquarius. All right. Dominant energy for Aquarius for the month of December 2022. All right, we've got a card that is poking up. Ooh. Transformation for Aquarius for the month of December. This is your dominant energy. Okay. I'm going to just consult my handy chart here, but I believe that this card is one of the cards that in the traditional tarot frightens people. And that's one of the reasons why I absolutely love my Osho Zen Tarot. Why? Well, first of all, this card has a 13 on it. This card represents number 13 in the major arcana of the traditional tarot. How many of the Aquarius in the group would go, if I told you, or if I had been using traditional tarot and I turned this card over and went, oh, the death card, your dominant energy for the month of December is death. I'm sure a lot of the Aquarius would be going, no, not really comfortable with that. That's why I love my Osho Zen. In the traditional tarot, the 13 card does represent the death card. But what is the overall energetic meaning behind the death card? It's transformation. And the only way that transformation can truly happen, my Aquarian friends, is for us to let a part of ourselves die. When we hold on to the past, when we hold on to old beliefs, when we hold on to old traditions, we're not able to transform ourselves. We're not able to move forward. We're not able to actually reach that ascendant moment that so many of us have been yearning for. This one, the reading for Aquarius, is a little bit deeper for two reasons. One, full disclosure, I am an Aquarius. So this does have a little bit more meaning for me. But also, We are currently in the process of really, really ramping up humanity's shift from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. What does that mean for us? The age of Aquarius is more of an energy of sharing, an energy of spiritual growth. A lot of the past number of years when we were in the age of Pisces was about technological growth, industrial growth, financial growth, all of those things, the competition that goes along with those aspects of growth. Moving into the age of Aquarius, we are moving into spiritual growth, transformational growth. We're moving into psychological and emotional growth. Those are on a very different level. And so the fact that this card came up for the Aquarians as we're moving into the last month of 2022, we move into 2023, which is getting us deeper into the energies of the age of Aquarius. There is a lot more change and transformation that's happening. And in order for that to happen, the death of the old way of doing things has to happen. Our old financial systems will not work for us in the age of Aquarius. Now, am I talking about digital currencies and being able to be tracked? No, absolutely not. I'm talking about moving into an age that it would be more like what was envisioned by Gene Roddenberry with Star Trek, where there's more of an equality of life for everyone, where we don't have that same hierarchy, where we don't have a dominant elite at the top that controls the majority of our financial system, and where there's people at the bottom who are plebes and peasants who work on behalf of those other people. That needs to die. That pyramid needs to die. That's what this card is representing. It's not representing the death of you and me, Aquarius. It is representing the death of the systems that no longer serve the whole populace. So that is the dominant energy for the month of December. For you as individual Aquarians, this card represents a little bit more of letting go of the past, more of letting go of that energy of Pisces, moving into and fully embracing the age of Aquarius and what that means. That means a greater equality. That means greater sharing. That means that if you do have more financial abundance than your neighbor, not looking down your nose at them, but in fact recognizing their humanity and sharing in that energy. That's what this transformation is about. It's about our spiritual growth, our emotional growth, our compassionate growth, our ability to empathize and feel compassion for our fellow human beings and sharing in that energy. That is the transformation. And in order for that to happen, a death needs to occur. Death to our inability to feel compassion for our fellow human beings when they're suffering. So for those of you who are Aquarius this month of December, really, really start to explore your own compassion, your own empathy. Begin to explore what really no longer serves our communities and begin to release that. Part of that is shopping local. Shop those little guys instead of going to the big box stores this year. Go to a market instead of going to Walmart. Support your fellow humans this year. That in and of itself is transformational. Okay. So that's it for Aquarius for the month of December. This will be a month that is exhilarating for the Aquarius, providing that you embrace the energy of change and transformation. Because the moment, Aquarius, that you reject change and transformation and that energy, you will struggle a little bit more. So embrace it, accept it, know that it's coming. And step proudly into the energy of change and transformation. When you do, it's like a snowball. I've got this image of a snowball that's about this big, starting at the top of a hill. And as it rolls, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it becomes unstoppable. So, yeah, way you go, Aquarius. All right, moving into Pisces. What does Pisces have in store as a dominant energy for the month of December? Okay. We've got a card that was sticking out. Okay. For my Pisces friends out there, your card is the equivalent to the Three of Swords from the traditional tarot deck. And this card is about isolation. Okay. Now, some of you might be looking at this card and going, isolation, I don't want to be in isolation, and it's the time of the holidays and I'm supposed to be social and so on and so forth. Yes, very much so. And what this card is telling me about your dominant energy this month is that there is a desire on your part at times to withdraw into isolation, to build an ice wall around yourself. But if you look at the character closely on this card, and hopefully it's in focus, you'll see that there are golden tears rolling down the face of the character. And as those golden tears increase, they begin to melt the ice that is around the character. So your dominant energy this month is to not allow yourself to pull back from society, not allow yourself to go into that cold place of isolation, to allow your tears, your golden tears, to flow. And as they do, they're going to melt that isolation. So what is that telling me? What's that telling me this month for the Pisces in the group is that tears are part of our emotions. In order to break down some of the isolation that you may be feeling, Pisces, is to get in touch with your emotions. Now, if you have watched all of these rather than just jumping via the timestamps directly into the Pisces, I'm going to encourage you, Pisces, to go back and watch Aquarius. Here's why. Right now, humanity is shifting from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. This is causing some Pisceans to feel the isolation, to feel the departure of the dominant Pisces energy from humanity as a whole as we move into the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius is about being more in touch with our emotions. And in order for you, Pisces, to have an easier transition into 2023, as we dig a little bit deeper into the energy of the age of Aquarius, you will be put into a position where you are forced to be more in touch with your emotions. This can be difficult for a lot of Pisceans, being in touch with their emotions. Pisceans are better at the more tactile, more scheduled, more structured aspects of life. But throughout the month of December, I'm really going to encourage my Piscean friends to get in touch with their emotions. Allow tears to flow if they need to, if that's what you're being called towards. Rather than having that staunch, stiff upper lip British style attitude, let your emotions flow. That is your dominant energy for the month of December. And as you do, you will melt that ice that's around you, my Piscean friends. And it will make the transition into the age of Aquarius a little bit easier for you. All right. I will be coming on and doing a couple more lives during the month of December. But if you are unable to catch those, I just want to wish happy holidays, whatever those holidays are, to all of the beautiful intuitive butterflies who follow my channel. If this was your first time visiting this channel, please like and subscribe if any of these readings resonated with you. All right. Thank you so much.